Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. Some of you have been subscribers for a while. If you have, you saw some of my earlier videos. If you haven't, this pertains primarily to the one entitled Trump is the Disciplined Parent Liberals Hate. Go back and watch that video and I kind of explain what's going on. And this is what the former, or she's still the mayor for another year, Seattle mayor just did. It's when that parent who doesn't want to discipline and wants to just be their kid's friends and doesn't care about anything else, it's when they realize the kid is out of control and now the disciplinary parent has to fix everything, which is really a crappy situation to be in. And if you're taking it in measured doses, you get your kid right. So this is from The Hill. It's been on King 5 all day. Don't only think this affects Seattle. It affects liberal cities like Portland, Houston, Austin, New York, Minneapolis. It affects all those cities and states because this is what liberals do. They come in with this bright idea of, hey, well, we're just going to be nice and kind to everybody and kick the can down the road. But what the Seattle mayor just did is just classic, and I'll explain it to you after I read the article to you. So it's from The Hill, titled Seattle Mayor Won't Run for Re-Election After Criticism of Handling Protests. That's not the reason she's not going to run for re-election. And you're looking at a picture of Seattle Mayor Jeannie Durkin. And I always mess up her name. But at least she doesn't have to change it now if she's not going to run again, so there's that. Seattle Mayor Jeannie Durkin announced Monday she won't seek re-election. In a video message, Durkin said during the year 2020 she was faced with the choice between campaigning for her job and during her job as mayor. We know stopping the spread of the virus, protecting jobs, and focus on the economic recovery, especially for downtown, is going to take everything we've got. She said, there was only one right choice for our city, doing the job. The embattled Democrat was hit with heavy criticism from conservatives and liberals alike, following her handling of weeks of civil protests. Actually, it was months of civil protests, with part of Seattle becoming an autonomous zone where there were no cops allowed. It was just insane. And the city following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, which has nothing to do with Seattle. For weeks, a small group of anti-government protesters occupied a 6-block radius of the city's Capitol Hill neighborhood, with multiple instances of assault and theft reported in the area. The federal government and President Trump repeatedly criticized Durkin and said she was allowing anarchy on the streets of her city. Police Commissioner Carmen Best resigned in August after the city council approved steep cuts to the department's budget, a top request of activists in the city. One city commissioner led a protest to Durkin's house in June after Durkin promised to disband the occupied territory in the city. Seattle police eventually cleared the area with minimal incident. Actually, there were 2-3 people killed there, multiple, from what I hear, sexual assaults. And that it wasn't a city commissioner. It was somebody on the Seattle City Council. Sawant was the one that led that protest to her house. Criminal justice reform activists were critical of Durkin's administration after police in the city used tear gas and pepper balls to quell rioting during the same period. The ACLU sued the city this summer over the police tactics in dealing with the unrest. The mayor says she is focused on getting the coronavirus under control during her final weeks in office. We still have some tough months ahead, Durkin said in the video message. Together, we can get through this and come back stronger, better, and more equitable. Durkin's term runs through November 2021. Go back up here to our picture. And so that's actually not what's going on. Let me tell you what's going on, people. So the Seattle City Council, headed by Seattle City Council member Sawant, has become so liberal. And here's really the killer part, is people always think of Seattle as liberal. But if you live up here, you know these were seafaring people. It's a port city. Very hard men and women. to live through those times. Think about it. The men would go out on ships, and the seas up here in the Northwest are rough. I'm originally a Texan. I have never seen it. It's cold, and the waves can get up to 18 feet in a second. 18 feet is enough to crush most ships. They would get out on fishing vessels. They would import lumber, all kinds of stuff to help build a city. They were hard men. The women, they have this thing up here called the widow's peak, or the widow's, what is it? It's this thing at the top of the houses up here, the houses that are on the ocean, where women would set out and wait for their men to come back. Imagine living with that. You don't know if the provider for your family is coming back. The person you love is going to die at sea. It takes a very hard, strong woman. But hard and tough men and women create soft times. And that's what happened here in Seattle. Because now you have these little brats running around on the streets, just doing what they want. They don't work for anything. They don't do anything. They don't contribute to society. And that's what we're faced with now. Hard men and women have created soft times because they've done the work. And so this doesn't only go back, it's not like she's a victim. She's not. You go back 15 years, right? 10 years. When she started her assault, and Seattle started assault on law-abiding gun owners, and they became super liberal. Well, if you look in that time, the homelessness is through the roof. You think I'm joking? Get on the I-5 North from Tacoma and just drive the I-5 North, go past Seattle, get on the exit and come back through. Trust me, you're going to want to. You're not going to want to stop in Seattle. Even along the I-5, there's homeless camps everywhere. Downtown is much, much worse. Much worse. I went to downtown Seattle here a few months ago. Saw a man defecating on the street. The peeing in the streets, homeless everywhere. It's really gotten bad. And it's because soft people like this with liberal ideas have deemed it so. Because they do not understand the reality. And see, now she's faced with reality. And she's that parent that just let the kids do whatever they want for as long as they want. And now they've realized it's out of control. So basically what she did was kick the bucket down the street. Like, hey, let somebody else deal with this and fix this. I'm not going to do it. Even though I'm the cause of it. Because understand, she's not a victim. She's not a victim. She's the cause. Because remember, when all this began, not all this, but this part of this began, she very clearly stated, it'll be a summer of love. Not understanding. Well, or not knowing, not caring, whatever, that it's not going to be a city of or summer of love. It's a summer of violence. Businesses, windows broke out. There's a Ferrari dealership in downtown. And they have, the bulletproof glass and all that. Those were broke out and boarded up. All the cars were gone. I know because I saw it with my own eyes. But see, this is what these people do. So Austin, Houston, especially Houston, made by hard men, oil field men. Houston's also a port city. Hardworking men and women. Men who worked hard, women who sacrificed. This is what they're taking you to. So if you believe this liberal BS, then that's on you. Because I've seen it firsthand, and it's not pretty. But basically what she's just done is she said, hey, these kids are out of control. Somebody else deal with it. Somebody else deal with it. And this is what's going to happen in all the liberal cities. We say, oh, this should be free and that should be free. It sounds good. It sounds great. Free education and, completely free healthcare, and everybody should have a free place to live. Honestly, I'm not being facetious here. It sounds good. Hey, Dan doesn't have to worry about where his next meal is coming from. Dan has a roof over his head. Dan can get free education whenever he wants it. Dan can go to the doctor with no charges. But understand that comes with a price. That comes with a price. So This is what it's boiled down to, and this is what you're going to see more and more. These liberals will screw things up and then slip out the back door and leave you, the taxpayer, to pick up the pieces. Seattle launched an attack on its gun industry. They launched an attack on Boeing. They launched an attack on Google. You know, Seattle's a big high-tech city. Had a lot of major industries here. Columbia, the clothing line company, is based out of Seattle. They're leaving. Google's talking about leaving. Boeing has already moved. The production line is talking about moving more. They've already moved their headquarters. See, and that's what these people do. They come in with their ideas and their agendas and don't take a look at what they're destroying. Same thing AOC did in New York. In a district that wasn't even her district to govern. Kept Amazon out. Lost tens of thousands of jobs. Did she care? Sure didn't. Sure did not. So, hey, I don't feel sorry for the mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin. And if you notice there, I have to look down at the name because I'd mess it up again. Don't feel sorry for her at all. She caused this, so that's on her. I mean, if your house is out of control, that's on you. You're the mayor. Fix it. And she did take a couple of shots at the Seattle City Council on her way out. They asked her, hey, what do you think we need in the next mayor? And she was like, somebody who doesn't pay attention to the slogans and to the minority loud voices. And what she meant by minority was not color, it's by the liberals up here. The white liberals who live in their little fancy houses that their parents and grandparents paid for. So now they have all this time to input their so-called higher mindset on you. But hey, she deserves it. Hey, crime's at the highest rate it's been since the 90s when we had the LA gangs moving up here, shooting stuff out in Seattle and Tacoma. Homelessness is at an all-time high in Seattle. The budget is strapped. You got behind the defund the police movement until Carmen Best said, hey, I'm gone. And then you tried to jump back on her side, and she's like, no, I don't care. I got enough time in for retirement. I'm taking my money and going. Good move, Carmen. You reap what you sow. This is what it is. And if Trump doesn't succeed in his litigations, this is going to be the country. So keep on believing those liberal ideas. Yeah, the liberals have you in mind. Nancy Pelosi has already shown she doesn't. None of them do. They don't care. They don't care. All they care about is their agenda. I keep telling you that. But people keep thinking they care about me. They don't. They don't. All they care about is their agenda. And when it fails, they slink away and leave you holding the bill. That's it. Ladies, it's like going on a date with a man. He says, I'm going to take you to a 5-star restaurant. And you order what you want. He orders an expensive meal. And then he says, I got to go use the bathroom, and sneaks out the window. Man. You go into a family setting and woman's like, yeah, I'm disciplinarian. And you get in the house and find out she doesn't discipline her kids for anything. And now she expects you to straighten it out. This is what's going on with liberals. Stop voting liberal. And if you vote liberal, that's on you. Okay. Alrighty, so thank you for watching this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. Like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do. And remember, this is not just about Seattle. This is all those other cities I mentioned. This is what's going to happen. All right, thank you. Like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do.